And Trish, thank you. And this is a Fox News alert. Fox News is now projecting that Speaker of the House Paul Ryan will win the primary race for his congressional seat in Wisconsin's 1st District. Now, Speaker Ryan, he's scheduled to hold a press conference, or at least give a speech. We're going to take some of that live when he steps to the podium. But first, the race for the White House rages on tonight, and the mainstream media is hammering Donald Trump over a remark that he made about the Second Amendment and Second Amendment supporters. Earlier, we spoke with the Republican presidential nominee, Donald Trump, about that and a whole lot more. Take a look. All right, and joining us now is Donald Trump on the campaign trail. Big crowds. Polls seem to be changing. One poll today showed a 4-point difference, so things are a little bit better. Your take on the state of the race?
Well, I think we're doing well. I'm in North Carolina right now. You have to see the crowds. The folks are just so enthused, and they just believe so strongly in what we're saying. I'm a messenger. That's really what I am when you think of it, Sean. I'm a messenger. But the message is the right message. I mean, we want to take back our jobs. We want to make good trade deals. We want to have borders that mean something, and that might include a wall, and it does include a wall as far as they're concerned, and more so as far as I'm concerned. And by the way, Mexico will be paying for the wall, in case you had any questions. But, you know, many things. Our military is depleted. We've got to build up our military. We need it. We have to take care of our vets. You know, there's a lot of messages that we're giving out because there's a lot of problems that we have as a country.
You know, I know you've said you don't care. You're not begging for anybody's support if they don't want to support you. I know there were presidential candidates that made a pledge to support you, John Kasich and Graham and Senator Cruz, et cetera. And Susan Collins today said she's not going to support you. And, you know, I've interviewed you enough that I know your agenda. And we've seen your list of Supreme Court justices. You laid out your economic plan yesterday that looked pretty Reagan-esque to me, pretty conservative to me. I know where you stand on radical Islam and ISIS. We all know where you stand on the border. We know where you stand on eliminating Obamacare. What is your message to them? Because my message to them is they're helping Hillary. And if they help...
Well, they are helping Hillary.
Yeah, so...
They are helping Hillary, and it's you know, sad to see, but... You know, when I ran in the primaries, I had no support because I was running against senators, governors for the most part. And, you know, these were very political people, and everybody was in favor of them, and that was fine. And I did great. And in some ways, I might be better off without so much support. But what people don't say is I have tremendous support. I have so many congressmen, so many senators, so many people, Jeff Sessions and so many others. We have unbelievable, Darrell Issa. We have so much support, but nobody ever wants to write that. They'll talk about a Susan Collins. Nobody even, you know, I don't even really know her. I met her one time for about 2 seconds. And, you know, they talk about others. And it's sad. And, you know, as far as the people that I competed against in the primaries, I won with a landslide victory. I won more states by many times. I won 14 million votes, more than ever gotten, almost 14 million, more than ever gotten in the history of the Republican primaries. And I know there are hard feelings, but, you know, you have to beat Hillary Clinton. And if we said nothing else, Sean, Supreme Court justices, just nothing else, take everything else out of the equation, because the next president is going to have probably at least 3 picks. It could even be 5. I don't know if you've heard that, but there's a good chance it will be 5. It'll be a record-setting number of picks. Old people on and our country will never be the same.
Well, that lasts for generations. All right, let's go over this, though. So on the Supreme Court, which will impact the country for generations, on vetting refugees, the economic plan, she's going to continue Obama's plan. We'll get into that in a second. She's not going to secure the borders. She's not going to identify radical Islam. We've seen the disaster of Syria, Iraq, Libya, Benghazi. She's not sending education back to the states. She's not eliminating Obamacare. She's not committed to fixing our VA or building up our dilapidated military. These are huge differences. And to me, it's gotten very personal. And I wonder if your daughter Ivanka hit it right when she said yesterday, they're afraid of you because the old order goes away. Thoughts?
Well, I can tell you, first of all, Ivanka's been a big help. She's been so fantastic and so respected, especially on the women's issues where, you know, it's very important to her. But I will tell you this. if you want tax increases, she's going to have a massive tax increase. Regulation, which is one of the biggest questions I get when I go around. I've met so many people in this country, small business owners, big business owners, everybody. Their biggest problem is regulation. It's out of control. You can't even operate businesses. We just met a business in North Carolina, a printing business, nice, beautiful family. And the family is they don't know what to do because Obamacare is putting them out of business. And they've lost a lot of employees already. You know, the whole thing is very sad. But she's going to raise taxes. And I don't mean a little bit. I mean massive tax increases. So everyone's going to pay more taxes.
$1.3 billion.
You're going to have more regulations. You're going to still have ISIS, right? You're going to still have ISIS all over the place because she's not going to attack them properly. We got to take them out. We got to take them out big league and fast. You're going to have ISIS. That's what you have. You're basically going to get 4 more years, Sean, of Obama, and 4 more years of Obama is a disaster. It's unacceptable.
Let me show how bad
business.
It is.
Look at our growth. Hey, Sean, look at our growth. We basically didn't grow as a country. We didn't grow. The numbers just came out. They're the lowest practically since the Depression. And you know, what are we doing? 4 more years of Obama. And I personally think, look, I think he's an incompetent president, but I think she'll be worse.
Let me go over some numbers with you if I can, because I think these are important, because Hillary's going to continue these policies. You gave an economic speech yesterday. Here's where we are. Since Obama's been president, there's nearly 12 million more Americans on food stamps, another 7 million in poverty, additional Americans. The average employer-sponsored health care premium has gone up for the family $4,170. That's a new tax. If you look at adjusted median household income, real dollars are down $185 per family. Each America's share of the national debt. He will accumulate more debt than all 43 presidents before him combined. But you can see every family now, every individual, nearly 60 grand. You see, if you look at the demographics, black Americans vote Democratic. Okay, how did they fare under Obama? Well, African Americans on food stamps are up 58%. African Americans in poverty are up 8% under Obama. The number of African Americans not in the labor force, that's up 20% under Obama. The home ownership rate for African Americans is down 4.6%. Median household income is down in real dollars for the average African American family. And here's some other numbers. It's the worst labor participation rate since the 70s, the lowest home ownership rate in 51 years, the worst recovery since the 1940s, and the first president that will never reach 3% GDP growth. And my final stat, he will, and we doubled the debt on top of it. So isn't that reason enough not to vote for Hillary to continue that?
Well, actually, I use some of your numbers because you do repeat those numbers, and it's good that you do because nobody believes them. But those numbers are right. Those numbers are right. And on occasion, I will take those numbers and use them at speeches, and people just can't even believe it when you look. Especially, you think in terms of home ownership, 51 years. It's the worst in 51 years. So many different numbers. We're doing so badly, and yet I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just habit. But you would think that the people would be sick and tired of this stuff. But it's a political rig deal. And the press is, the press plays right into the hands of these people. And they really are an extension, in my opinion. The press is an extension of Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. And that's what's going on. And people see it. I had an interesting case a week ago. I had this phenomenal arena packed with people, thousands of people, and a baby was crying, and we were having fun. You couldn't talk with the baby screaming. I said, the baby sounds like Pavarotti, had the voice of Pavarotti, and I kidded, and we had a lot of fun, and the mother was great. And eventually the mother left, and they said,
I had the mother on last night.
That's
she loves you.
Well, you know what they said? Sean, the mother was great, and we were laughing and waving and came back in, but the press, the headline the next day in some of these papers was, Trump throws baby out of the arena or kicks baby out of the arena. And I said, that's so unfair. And then people would come up to me for the last week and they'd say, Mr. Trump, why did you have to throw the baby out of the arena? I didn't throw a baby out of the arena. We were having so much fun. And the baby was great, and the mother was great. And, it's just a wild scene. It was a rally with thousands and thousands of people. Everybody was laughing.
Well, we actually
played the part. And the headline was that I was kicking a baby out of an arena.
We actually
Sean,
played.
You have no idea. So many people came up to me.
We're having fun with the kid.
I was having fun. But so many people came up to me in the last week. Mr. Trump, I really like you. I'm voting. But don't throw babies out of an arena. That's terrible. And it's just so sad. And, you know, they're just dishonest. And they know that. And everybody. And by the way, you had the mother on. And the mother was also a little bit in the papers. And she was so terrific. She said it was fantastic what took place.
Yeah.
So it's very unfair.
Well, speaking of unfair and media coverage, because, like, for example, all the statistics I put up on the screen, which are 100% vetted and true, you won't hear or see that anywhere else because the media has an agenda. Now, I'm an opinion host. I've told everybody I'm voting for you. I'm pulling the lever for Donald Trump in this election.
Wow, that's very nice. Thank you.
They're dishonest. They don't tell who they're voting for, but it's obvious because they won't put the numbers up that I just put up. I'll give you another example. Earlier today, you were talking about the Second Amendment. And I'm going to play what you said, and then we'll talk about how the media reacted to it.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that will be a horrible day. If Hillary gets to put her judges, right now we're tied. You see what's going on? We're tied because Scalia, this was not supposed to happen. Justice Scalia was going to be around for 10 more years at least, and this is what happens. That was a horrible thing.
You know, so obviously you're saying that there's a strong political movement within the Second Amendment, and if people mobilize and vote, they can stop Hillary from having this impact on the court. But that's not how the media is spinning it. What's your reaction to it?
Well, I just heard about that, and it was amazing because nobody in that room thought anything other than what you just said. This is a political movement. This is a strong, powerful movement, the Second Amendment. You know, Hillary wants to take your guns away. She wants to leave you unprotected in your home. This is a tremendous political movement. The NRA, as you know, endorsed me. They're terrific people, Wayne and Chris and all of the people over there. And by the way, I just saw they tweeted out, basically they agree 100% with what I said. And there can be no other interpretation. Even reporters have told me, I mean, give me a break. But they're dishonest people. What it is there's a tremendous power behind the Second Amendment. It's a political power. And there are few things so powerful, I have to say, in terms of politics. There is few things. And I happen to think that if they actually did even bring this up, I think it's a good thing for me because it's going to tell people more about me with respect to the Second Amendment, because Hillary Clinton wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. And if she puts Supreme Court justices on, she will decimate your Second Amendment.
All right, when we come back, more of my interview with Donald Trump right after the break, plus the father of the Orlando nightclub shooter. Well, he was spotted sitting directly behind Hillary Clinton at a campaign rally yesterday in Kissimmee, Florida. So why isn't Clinton being forced to denounce his support? We'll talk about that later with Donald Trump. Also later, there are growing concerns about Hillary's health. We'll check in with our Fox News medical A-team. Also, Fox News is projecting that Speaker Paul Ryan will win his primary race easily. We are awaiting his press conference. That and more tonight right here on Hannity. But first, a new Clinton controversy after the father of the Orlando nightclub terrorist attended Hillary Clinton's rally yesterday in Kissimmee, Florida. Now, he was spotted, you can see him right there, seated right behind the Democratic nominee. Now, earlier I asked the Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump, about this and more. Take a look. So David Duke says something positive about Donald Trump, and you repeatedly say you denounce David Duke. And then they ask you again and again and again, denounce, denounce, denounce. And here's a guy, the father of this Orlando terrorist who killed 49 people at a nightclub, injured another 53 other people. He's right behind Hillary Clinton in Kissimmee, Florida yesterday. This is a guy who, after her husband, after his son killed all these people, said, well, the issue of homosexuality and punishment belongs to God. It does not belong to a servant of Allah, but I'm really saddened that he has committed this action. And then he said, our brothers, etc., our warrior brothers in the Taliban movement and national Afghan Taliban are rising up, so he supports the Taliban. And then all the Hillary campaign can say about it is, well, it was a 3,000-person rally, open door to the public. When you add that to the fact that Hillary takes money from a country like Saudi Arabia, where men tell women how to dress, women can't drive, women can't go to school or work without a husband's permission, gays and lesbians are executed, Christians are persecuted, you can't build a Christian church and you can't build a Jewish temple. The Clinton Foundation took up to $25 million and the Clinton Library took $10 million. Would you take money from the Saudis?
No, and I will say this, that I heard about that, and I saw the picture of him with a red hat, but it didn't have Make America Great on it, by the way. And she did not disavow. And if that were me, this would be a headline all over the world about Trump. But she did not, as I understand it, disavow this man. And he's got some pretty harsh views. So I think it's, look, it's a whole double standard, but we're punching through it. And I think the people understand. I really think the people understand. So that's pretty much it, Sean.
Can I just go through your agenda really quick? Because I want people that maybe want to understand, to me, what this election is about. Now, really, really quick. So that list of justices, that's the type of justice you will appoint to the Supreme Court, correct?
Well, I want to look, and we, as you know, I put 11 people in that were highly vetted and just people that are terrific. But another example would be Justice Scalia. That's what we're really looking for, as close to that as we could get. He was terrific, and that was not supposed to happen, and it happened because these things do happen. Yeah. But as close to Justice Scalia as we can get.
And you're going to lower the corporate rate. You're going to allow multinational corporations at a very low rate to bring back, and you're going to allow energy independence and expansion. Do you think you can become, America can be energy independent in 4 years?
I do, if not sooner. I do, absolutely. Companies are being put out of business. Companies in the energy business are being put out of business by regulation and horrible, horrible rules that they're making up on a daily basis, and they're putting all of these people. I'll give you an example. The miners are being put out of business. Hillary Clinton wants all miners out of business, and I think it's one of the reasons I'm doing so well in Ohio and Pennsylvania.
You'll expand
lots
coal
of different
mining
places, but the miners are out of business.
She said she wants to fire coal miners. They're going to lose jobs, and coal companies out of business. So you expand coal mining, you'll expand drilling, you'll expand fracking, nuclear, and new technology. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it's 100% true, all of it, 100% true.
And the plan you laid out yesterday on corporate rates and repatriation for multinational corporations, that's going to happen, and about half of American workers won't pay any federal income tax under your plan.
A tremendous amount will not pay anything, and the rates are going to be very low. The tax cut is massive, and the corporate tax cut, people are going to bring back companies. They're going to start companies. The jobs are going to flourish, and I think we'll go over the 4%. Right now, we're practically at nothing.
And you will not allow refugees in from countries that practice Sharia, or where our National Director of Intelligence, FBI, CIA Director are warning that ISIS will infiltrate without proper 100% vetting.
That is correct, 100%.
And you will build that wall. How certain, who was it? Jeb Bush said he's not going to build that wall. It's never going to happen. Is that wall going up?
Oh, we're going to build the wall. We need the wall. The security, as you know, the Border Patrol agents, 16,500, they endorsed me. And when they did, I said, tell me, the wall, really important? They said, Mr. Trump, we desperately need it. The wall we want, the wall we need. And we're going to have the wall, and Mexico is going to pay for the wall, by the way, Sean, just in case. They're going to pay because we lose so much money in terms of trade deficit with Mexico. Mexico will pay for the wall.
And let's talk about Obamacare. You've talked about eliminating it, talked about portability, pre-existing conditions, and health care savings accounts. Do you believe health care savings accounts is the antidote?
Well, I think it's one of them. I think it's a great alternative. They work. They're fabulous. You can move. You can do whatever you want to do. Everybody wants them. You'll save money. You'll have much better plans. I mean, look at what's going on with Obamacare. The rates are going through the roof. Deductibles, I mean, you won't even get to use it unless you have a real big, long-lasting problem. No. It's a certainly one method, and there are many, by the way, Sean. You know, I know you always mention that, but there are many methods. Yeah. But they'll all be better, and you don't have to be limited to one or two. We can use other methods, but people will be paying a lot less money, Sean. They'll be paying a lot less money for a lot better care.
You talked about really building up America's military. That's going to cost money. I did read a critic of yours from your economic speech, and they said, well, he's not dealing with spending. He's not dealing with entitlements. Would you eliminate baseline budgeting and built-in increases that every department has in Washington?
Yes, the answer is yes. What we have to do, Sean, we have to build up our military. Our military is so depleted, we have to build up our military. There's nothing we can do about that. We've never needed a military just about so badly. So the military itself has to be built up, and we can't do anything about that. At the same time, I'm sure we can do it for a smaller price than most people would think, because that's what I do. It's called negotiation.
You know what?
But we have to build up our military. It's very depleted.
For all those people that say they're Republicans, we went down the entire list of differences now between you and Hillary. And if they're going to stay, on this never Trump thing, they're responsible for her Supreme Court picks. They're responsible for the refugees that are unvetted. They will be responsible for whatever illegal immigrants do. They'll be responsible when we have a depleted military and a crisis comes. So I think this is a compare and contrast election to me. Very different visions for the country, Mr. Trump.
These are terrible people. Look, these are terrible people. They're endorsing because I don't want them. The people that are there now, I don't want. Look at the world. Look at what's gone on with the Middle East. I mean, it's a mess. These are the people that are advising. These are the advisors. These are hangers-on. They couldn't make a living in the regular private sector, frankly. And they know I don't want them. I've never spoken to these people. I don't know who these people are. So, look, these people are not the kind of people we want. These are people that have given us a messed up world. You look at North Korea. You look at the Middle East. You look at every single thing we're doing. It's a mess.
That's scary.
They form because Trump isn't their kind of a guy. I don't want these people. We're going to have so much better. It's going to be so much better, Sean. Your head will spin. So much better.
Mr. Trump, always appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sean.
And coming up tonight, Fox News projecting that Speaker Paul Ryan is going to win his